so that I'll know how to.
Can I do it after class then?
After class only, not now.
I don't know how to mic some.
He will do it.
Okay.
He raised his hand.
That's right, he did, basically.
It's like that joke, that there are people standing at the pearly gates. A group of men is standing on one side, and one man by himself is standing on another side. And then God gives the decree. This time, I don't want mob followers. I want people who have initiative, drive and creativity. Bring them to heaven, not all these mediocre thinking people. So then the dutas, the messengers, go out and see that this one man is by himself. He says, oh, sir, looks like you are the lucky one today, because all these other people have mob mentality and you are standing apart from the mob. And looks like you have drive, creativity, and enthusiasm and independent thinking. He says, I don't know about that. Why are you standing here then, when everyone else is standing over there? He says, my wife told me to avoid crowds. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinnavidhitamasvamavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatpamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Kayanti Yam Samaka Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidasura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Sanjaya Tasmai Namaha Sanjaya Uvacha Together Tantatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Pulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Kutaswakashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anaryajushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna Klaibyam Masmagamah Partha Naitatvayupapadyate Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktvottishta Parantapa. Arjuna Vacha Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye Dronancha Madhusudana Ishubhiv Pratiyotsyami Pujarha Varisudana Guru Nahatva Mahanubhavam Shreyo Bhoktum Bhaikshyamapi Haloke Hatparthakamanstu Guru Nihaiva भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान् न चैतद्विद्मः कतरन्नो गरीयः यद्वा जयेम यदि बाणो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जीविषामः तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धातराष्ट्राः कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् न हि प्रपश्यामि ममापनुद्यात् यच्छोकमुच्छोषणमिन्द्रियाणाम् अवाप्य भूमावसपत्नमृद्धम् राज्यं सुराणामपि चाधिपत्यम् सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्ता ऋषिकेशं गुडाकेशः परन्तप न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम् उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तमिदं वचः श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्वम् प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासुंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः. Bhashya. What we have been seeing is that the I-ness, the me-ness and the my-ness caused a big minus in Arjuna's buddhi and made him what? Have this double-fold sign of samsara. What is this two-fold sign of samsara? Shoka, sorrow caused by moha, delusion. And delusion is caused by aham, ahamta and mamata. Mamata minus aham is I-ness, I-ness, me-ness, my-ness, and so because of that there is a big hole in the buddhi, and therefore this is what he says: tathacha arjunena rajya guru putra mitra suhrit swajanma sambandhi bandhaveshu aham esham mama ete iti evam bhranti pratyay nimitta sneha vichedadi nimittau atmanah shokamohau pradarshi tau. So this is what it is. So this is, what we saw in the first chapter, Adi Shankara says, is a display of his shoka and moha expressed through words such as what? That me, mine, this is rajya, my guru, my bandhu, my sakha, my mitram, my sukrit, etc. Why mitram? Mitram is neuter, even though it means friend. Yeah. Sakha is masculine, even though it ends in a. Very interesting. So, little language trivia. And so, pradarshitav means his shoka and moha was on display for all to see. Okay? Yeah. Pradarshanam means display, exhibition. He exhibited. He was a big drama king in chapter 1, and he went through the full tantrum of what it looks like, the full, hog of what it looks like to be in the grip of shoka and moha. He demonstrated for several ages to come. Yeah. So the archetype of shoka and moha of Arjuna in the grip of both of them in the first chapter, expressed through sentences such as me, mine, my this, my that, my people, my guru, my kingdom, was on full display. Adi Shankara says it was completely, nothing was left to be desired, nothing was left to the imagination. Yeah. And then it says shoka moha bhyam hi, this we may have repeated, but that's okay, because I don't remember exactly where we stopped. Shoka moha bhyam hi abhibhuta viveka vijnanah स्वतः एव क्षात्रधर्मे युद्धे प्रवृत्तोऽपि सन् तस्मात् युद्धाद् उपरराम परधर्मं च भिक्षा जीवनादिकं कर्तुं प्रववृत्ते. As though this was not enough. Yeah, I did this. We are just doing this. As though this was not sufficient, what else did he do? Even though he had signed up for the war and was scratching his toe in the sand like the chicken ready to fight, itching for the war to come, even though he was doing that, what did he do? He upararamified, meaning he ran away or wished to flee. Yeah. Uparam, stop, wish to stop. Rarama, like babhuva. You say happened a long time ago. Parokshe bhut. And so therefore what? So a long time ago he wanted to stop the war and flee away. Not only that, so in other words, he did tyaga. He renounced. What did he renounce? His swadharma. What is his swadharma? To be a warrior. To be a protector of dharma is his swadharma. His dharma is not just to fight. To fight for the sake of protecting dharma. Let's never forget that. It's not that some people are executioners just to kill people. That's not what is being talked about here. It's his swadharma is to protect the dharma for everyone else. To protect the samanya dharma for everyone else. That is his swadharma. So it's a very noble cause. And let's not forget that Duryodhana and he don't just share a personal slight. And he's not just avenging Draupadi's insult. The war is not about avenging Draupadi's insult. The war is a war of dharma because this fellow is a dictator and a tyrant and a terrorist. We saw the definition of terrorist. The 6 things you have to have. So this is what it is. So not only did he not want to do his swadharma, he did tyaga of swadharma, and then as though that was not enough, he wanted to embrace someone else's dharma. Whose dharma? Sadhu dharma. Without being a sadhu. If he was a sadhu, okay. Fine. You have to embrace sadhu dharma. But without being a sadhu and without having any desire to do so, you are going under the grandfather clause. Like everything goes, this is the final thing, and because I don't like what I'm doing, I'm going to go and do someone else's duty. Correct? I'm going to take up some other lifestyle that neither befits me, nor is good for me, nor something that I have chosen. And when am I going to do that? After I'm abandoning a lifestyle which I was proud of. And my lifestyle here means swadharma. After abandoning what I was born to do, where my talents lie, for which I have gained all the skills. You see? And what am I doing? I'm going away from that and adopting a sadhu lifestyle. So this is a twofold transgression here. And I want you to understand this transgression correctly, because there are ways of understanding it as it is done in contemporary India, which is not correct. Or even here, I'm not sure. So that is not correct. So we have to understand the context of these two transgressions correctly. Firstly, we are talking of ancient India. And secondly, we are talking about a Kshatriya in the prime of his life who never has averred from his devotion to his duty. And we are talking of ancient India, which is a duty pradhanya, duty pradhana culture. Pradhana means mukhya, means it's not a rights-based culture. The West is a rights-based culture. Everyone keeps fighting for their right. That's why you keep fighting. Because you feel like you're not getting your rights and your needs met. But the East, not just India, but you see ancient China, you see all those areas, it's a duty-based culture. My duty, becomes your right, if performed correctly. Yeah. Same thing in families and friends. The duty of the husband performed correctly becomes the right of the wife or the spouse. And the duty of the parents performed correctly becomes the rights of the children. The duty of the children performed correctly becomes the rights of the parents. So this way, we don't have to keep petitioning the state or keep fighting for the right and bring the state into the drawing room and the bedroom to meet the duties of the individual families. This way, what can we do? We can just be dutiful, not beautiful, I said dutiful. Yeah. So we can just be doing what we are meant to do. And then what? When you do what you are meant to do, the other people will get what they are supposed to get. Because everybody is connected. Your duty is towards the family, correct? So your duty becomes the rights of the family, like this. So it was a transgression because he is not doing what he is supposed to do. And what happens when you are not doing what you are supposed to do? Yeah, you feel like doing something that you are not supposed to do. You feel like doing something, and the pasture always looks greener on the other side. And this is something even in contemporary India, people cannot get over. The parents freak out. Even when their children are 40 or 50 and beyond, all that the child has to do is to change the job. They say, oh, no, what's going to happen? It's unheard of. Not because we don't see we're not interested in upward movement or anything, not that. It's about simplifying life by putting your talents towards one arena where you are good at it, and then there are no distractions. Because everybody cannot be good at everything. And why should everybody be good at everything? It's impossible and undesirable, Otherwise you will have a dictator, who does everything all the time. That we don't need that. So somebody is good at, doing writing or reading or writing, that kind of a thing, mental work. Let them do that. Somebody is good with their hands. Let them do that. Somebody is good at mathematics and figuring out certain things, accounting, let them do that. Somebody is very good with, supporting other people, let them do that. So there is a certain predilection which is called guna. Predilection. Where the desire is. It's not just a desire like, oh, I wish I could do this. Where there is a certain calling actually. There is a certain calling. And there is a certain cosmic flow that is assisting the following of this calling. And as long as you are hearing that call, the cosmic flow supports you. This is not about, oh, it's bad to leave a job or bad or good to find another job. There is no judgment here. It's just a statement of a fact that everybody is gifted in a certain way or the other. And nobody is useless on this earth. Even the cut purse has a purpose, yeah. Even the fellow who is cutting other people's purses, has a purpose. We say that they are here to exhaust the karma of others, yeah. So there's nothing in this universe without purpose. And sometimes it takes thousands of lifetimes to find out what is the purpose. It's okay, we can wait, no problem. But here we have the stellar warrior, this 5-star warrior called Arjuna, who knows what he is about, who knows what he is good at. He's found a place of leadership, he's found a niche for himself, and he gets so dejected under the grip of shoka and moha, under the grip of sorrow and delusion, that he cannot face what he has to do. So much dejection that first of all he wants to leave what he is supposed to do. He wants to abandon his forte, his place of expression, his place of strength and creativity. He wants to abandon. And as though this wasn't bad enough, he wants to take up, residence in another arena, a completely foreign arena, for which he had neither the desire nor the equipage. He was not equipped to do that. Put him in a cave and what will he do? Yeah. Now, only bats and sadhus look good inside caves. Maybe along with some stalactites and mites. I don't know which one is coming down and which one is going up. Yeah. So, this is what it is. So, everybody cannot thrive everywhere. And he is using this sadhuhood as a default. It's not that he said, I think I am having, what is that called? Dispassion. It's not that I do not desire the war because I have grown out of what is it that I have to do. That's a different kind of a growth. And he's going to talk about this growth later. It's not that you want to stop, you're not married to what you're doing in the tradition, in this setup, in this infrastructure. But you are also told not to leave it. You can leave it when you don't want to leave it. That's the time you can leave. Yes. You can leave the marriage when you no longer want to flee. You can leave the job when you need not ever want to leave it. That time you can leave. You don't leave something just because you feel like leaving it. This is the whole thing. Because you express the oil from a seed until it is just a dry, husk. All the oil is pressed out of the seed. You use the circumstances, the outer circumstances of your life to for your own self-growth and self-expression. Until the marriage, the children, the house, everything becomes a dry husk, meaning there's nothing, you don't care if you're there in it anymore, or if you leave. Same thing with the battle. His passions were so much engaged that he wanted to stop the war. And that's not the time to leave, because there is growth there. That extreme reaction itself shows that I need to stop. I need to stop and let this teach me what to do. And so that is the thing. And then when you're not doing, when there is a vacuum, and when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, the mind always goes to what you're not supposed to do. This is human nature. That's why one is told to keep busy doing what you're supposed to do, otherwise what will happen? You'll feel like doing this or that, nonsensical, useless things, which are no good for anybody. And so here, his mind goes straight to the final goal in life, which is to let go of everything. And he says that I don't have a way to leave the war, because there is no way of fleeing the war. Even now there isn't, Yeah. They got it from the ancient times. Yeah. And so once you have signed up, there is no way of fleeing the war. Even in the olden times there was no way of fleeing the war. So he went into this default strategy where there is a niche for growing out, for the people who have grown out gracefully, outgrown what they had to do, outgrown the institutions, the infrastructure and the relationships, rather than left them. They have, in other words, to put it in Swamiji's language, found freedom in relationships rather than freedom out of the relationship. So they have found a place of acceptance and they have found a place of contentment. And so this niche, the final goal of dropping everything, is for such people who are not running away. Because we saw in the morning class, who is running? Brahman. Where are they running to? Brahman. Where are they running away from? Brahman. Does this make sense? Brahman. So, therefore, so this, he is looking to the sadhu life, the life of giving up everything, which is the outcome of a certain inner maturity, which he does not yet have. Shows that this is this is an aberration. So there are two aberrations. One, he doesn't want to do what he is supposed to do. The second, he wants to do what he is not supposed to do, which he is not ready for. This is what, this is where I think we had stopped. And so this is what we have to understand this properly. And so then, tathacha, he says, sarva praninam shoka mohadi doshavishta chetasam स्वभावतः एव स्वधर्म परित्यागः प्रतिषिद्ध सेवा च स्यात्. Adi Shankara says, let's not bash up poor Arjuna as though he was an aberration. Tathacha, in the same manner, indeed, and furthermore, he says, in the same manner, sarva pranina, all the people, and he calls them pranis, interesting, two-footed people whose mentality is not different from the four-footed ones. Because when the four-footed one is made to do what it doesn't like to do, it will either bite or run away, or both. It will first bite and then run away, And so, sarva praninamapi, in the same way for all the beings, what happens? Shokamaha, the beings who are under the spell, whose hearts, Chetas, heart, have been avishta, overcome, overwhelmed, hijacked by the fallacies, doshas of shoka, moha. Adipadat what? Kama, krodha, lobha, everything else, other five you can bring in, So, whose hearts have been hijacked by sorrow, delusion, fear, grief, all these things you can put in, pride, arrogance, or avarice, all these you can bring in, whose hearts have been hijacked by these negative fallacies, swabhavatah, by nature, they don't want to do what they are supposed to do. And furthermore, they want to do what they are not supposed to do. So let's not do a witch hunt on Arjuna, because poor Arjuna, as we say, pradarshanam, kurvan, he is just showing us, displaying an archetype. And what is the archetype he is displaying? He is displaying an archetype of all human beings who have not outgrown their animalistic tendencies. Even though they have been put in a human body, the animal vasana from the previous lifetime is sitting in the buddhi, covering in the buddhi, ready to leap, and this animalistic tendencies is what? Fight, flight, survival, I'm only going to follow my ragadveshas, I'm not going to really look at other people's, my connection to the other people and my sense of contribution, and that if I don't do something, other people will be affected. If I leave this battle, other people morale will be dejected. Nothing I will think of. I will only think of myself. This is an animalistic thing, So this animalistic behavior of leaving what they are supposed to do, like even the most ferocious guard dog, you dangle a piece of something to eat, and it will start salivating and coming towards you, and it will happily let all the robbers in the house. Correct? Yeah, and that's what they do. They will put a piece of meat with some nice, coat it with some sedative, Valium, and then give it to the dog. In India, this is a very common modus operandi for burglary. So the dog first will be growling and frothing at the mouth, and then it is lured to this sedated piece of meat, and then it just goes to sleep. Yeah, and then it lets you do whatever you want. Wakes up in time to greet the owners shamefaced. So like this, the paradharma, the other people's dharma is it's a very animalistic tendency. It is not doing what it's supposed to do. Coming under the spell of the sedation of the shoka and the moha, does what it is not supposed to do. So let us not bash up Arjuna. Adi Shankara says Arjuna is merely displaying a common tendency in all beings that have this, thing. But what about the few stalwarts who are left guarding their own dharma? Don't they deserve praise because they did not leave their dharma? Adi Shankara says no. Why not? Let us find out. Swadharme pravrittanam api tesham vang manah kayadinam pravrittihi phalabhisandhi purvaka eva sahankara cha bhavati. Unfortunately, even the few people who are guarding, who are kind of going on plodding, the plodders, they are plodding along doing what they are supposed to do. They are not fighting what they are supposed to do, they are doing it. Then why don't they deserve Adi Shankara's 5 stars? They don't deserve a gold star or a silver star because they are disconnected from themselves. They are also under the spell of Shoka and Moha, and it's not that the other people who have left are worse off or worse than these people. They are equally bad. Why? Because the one leaves or wants to leave and take up something that is not at all suitable and cause confusion in their life and the lives of others, and the other set of people who are doing their swadharmas are doing it with such great disenchantment and jadedness because they are also under the spell of the aforementioned Shoka and Moha. Oh, now this is a big fix, isn't it? So what am I supposed to do? Even if I do what I am supposed to do, I am under the grip of Shoka and Moha. Then if I want to leave what I am doing and go somewhere else, the grip of the Shoka Moha doesn't go away. Ayyo, what to do? You know? So, they also have, and they have 2 problems. Their fallacy in how they do their job lies in the twofold, in 2 problems. What is that? You know, Vang manah kayadinam pravrittihi phalabhi sandhi purvaka and sahankara cha bhavati. One is the reason why they are under the grip of Shoka and Moha and how it shows is because they are disconnected mind, body, senses from their activity. They are not present while doing the action. If they are not present, why are they absent? Because they are looking to the results of the action. This is what is called phalabhi purvaka sandhihi buddhi. A buddhi, a mind that is constantly putting the what is it that you put before what? The cart before. Yes, the cart before the horse. The horse has to be before the cart. So the cart before the horse. The mind that is always putting, always calculating. There is a little accountant sitting here thinking, what shall we do? What shall we gain? How shall we go forward? How to do this? How to go about this? What? What now? What next? When? Where? Why? How? Me? Oh, how will it benefit me? What will I get out of this? Oh, that's not too good. Then after that, what will happen? If I get this promotion, what will happen then? Then I get that job, then what will happen next? Next. Fir kya? You know, this is in Hindi we say fir kya? After this what? You know? Next. Tatah kim? In Sanskrit you say tatah kim. Next what? Then what? What? And then in the whole, you know, it's tiring, it's exhausting to always be so far away and not think of the now, not be in the now. So this is the first problem, is that every action that is performed is an action that is, I can't even say half-heartedly, you know, there is no heart in it. Yeah, why? Shoka, Moha, Vishta, Chetasam, the same for both. That applies to both. Their hearts have been hijacked by sorrow, delusion, fear and all kinds of ragas and dveshas, and therefore they are not present while doing the job. Everything is slipshod, half-hearted, you know. It's not forgetfulness. Yeah. The buddhi is a muscle that grows. Yeah. It just forgets. It forgets because it's not been doing push-ups. Yeah. You have to make it do push-ups. Push-ups of mindfulness. Push-ups and pull-ups where you are just right here, right now, just being and not doing something for the sake of something else. Otherwise you are running like a mad person. And how long will you run? How much will you run? Where will you run to? Who are you running from? This is the problem. So don't think that the people who are doing their swadharma are not running. They are also running. And what are they running to? To the fruit of the action. Their minds are completely, they are fruitaholics. They are addicted to karmaphalaholics. They are addicted to karmaphala, karma, action, phala, fruit. They are addicted to the fruit of the action all the time. They are not present. So they'll be doing something, but the mind is somewhere else. So obviously it affects how they are doing it. And then if it affects how they are doing it, it will also affect the outcome. That's what it is. So they'll never get the outcome they desire because they are not in it. And even otherwise, even if they are in it, the outcome is not in their hands. You don't control the outcome of your action. That's the simple thing we have to understand. You do not control the outcome of your action. Not now, not never, not ever. You don't control the outcome of the action at all. And so therefore what? Therefore we have to see that this is the first problem with what we call the plodders. They need not feel good that they haven't even ventured out of their own swadharma, meaning what they are supposed to do. Because even that is fraught with all kinds of horrible dangers. Twofold. One is they are looking to the future always, they are not in the present. Second thing is that there is the sense of doership so strong in that. Ahankarena saha vartate sahankarah. So sahankara cha bhavati, what? Pravrittihi. That's why it is in feminine. Pravrittihi means action here. Sahankara pravrittihi, feminine. Sahankara bhavati pravrittihi, because ahankarena saha vartate, that which lives along with ahankara. Yes. So sahankara, meaning ahankara means I did it. Who did that? Me. Even if you haven't done it, you raise your hand. Yeah. And so many times we meet people like this, People come up and say, all this whole thing I only organized. Oh, really? You did that? But your name is not on the committee. I just looked at the organizer committee. No, I told them. I myself told them, don't put my name. I'm not that kind of a man. This is an actual quotation. Somebody said this to me. I'm not that kind of a man. I told them, I don't want the credit. I want to be in the background and do everything and let all of you folks take away the credit. I told them outright. And then I saw some organizers coming. I said, oh, there the organizers are. And I was just going to appreciate this person. And then when I looked, the person, Tiro babhuva means what? Disappeared. Shimmied out of there. Totally. Yeah, nowhere to be found. And so, this is what the whole thing is. So this kartritvam, which is difficult to say, kartritvam. What does it mean? Yeah, doership. Tvam, you, kartru, doer. You as the doer. Kartru, tvam. Yeah. This is how to remember it. Yeah, you are the doer. I am the doer. That feeling of attachment is not just to the results. That you anticipate the results is not the problem. Anticipate it, no problem. But don't be completely into that, so much so that the effort is jeopardized or compromised. And secondly, the effort itself, you have to let go. Some people cannot let go. There used to be a thing in, before Nepal became secularized. It was a very nice function where they used to have this young girl dressed up as a goddess and bless the whole city. It was a very colorful festival during Navaratri. She was dressed up as men. They used to have many young girls, but this one was the queen of all of them. And she would be selected after a lot of insight, and they would study her horoscope. They would do all these things. They would dress her up as a goddess, very cute, 4 or 5 years old. And she was supposed, the Raja, the king, and everybody would come and invoke in her the mother goddess, fall at her feet, and then, she was giving presents. And one time I saw on television, this was so adorable, that she was supposed to give something to the king and she liked it a lot herself. So she is not letting go, and they are patting her on the thing and nudging her and saying, you're supposed to give it. And she says, yeah, she tries to give it, but grabs onto it without giving it because she wanted that present very badly herself. But she was small, So like this, even the functional adult here, is cannot has trouble letting go of the actor. And so, first of all, there are two. The actions are flawed. All actions are flawed. First flaw is that one is overly concerned about the results, always in the future, never in the present. And the second problem is what? One is totally unable to let go of the status of the doer. When you do something, you have to let it go. And otherwise, you become an approval hog. Yeah. That's the problem with doership. Not letting go of doership makes you a beggar for approval. So, how did I do here? Oh, you did very well. How did I do here? 2 minutes later. What about this? Oh, that's very nice. What about this? Oh, this is wonderful. You did a good job. Yeah, but did you see this corner? Yeah, this corner is also very nice. How about in the middle? The middle is very... Oh, that means you didn't like that corner. No, I like that corner. Oh, that means you didn't like the sides. No, I like the sides also. Oh, that means you didn't like the back. No, the back is very nice. Oh, that means you hated the front? No, everything is nice. Oh, you're just saying that. So you become an approval beggar. You just become a yajaka. Yeah. Yajaka means beggar. You keep begging, how did I do? How did I do? How did I do? And somebody else has to say, you are wonderful, you are great. And this is often the main reason people get into couples and get married. Because, at least one person is there to approve me, Doesn't always work out that way. Nice idea. But because the person wanting approval, you are not the only one wanting approval. The person you are seeking approval from is another approval hog. One approval hog is getting married to another approval hog. Correct? Yeah. And it never works out. And so here, these are the two flaws of the people who even follow Swadharma. What happens? They are flawed in two ways. One is they cannot, be in the present and do the work for the sake of the work. Because when you do it for its own sake, it brings joy. But they, being under the grip of shoka and moha, sorrow and delusion respectively, are unable to be joyful. The other reason they cannot be joyful is because they are always anticipating the worst, by being fixated on the result. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Gloom, doomsday people. And then finally, what is the problem? They are unable to let go of what they have done. So if it turns out well, they become an approval hog. See what I have done. Look at me. Look at all these things I have done. So they just become, what's the word for it? Publicity agents for themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Publicity agents for themselves. What I did, this is nothing. You should have seen what I did there. You should know what I am. After my name, there is degrees from A to Z. Yeah. So this is the approval hog. And then if it goes well, you become modified, even if it doesn't go well. But if you think it has gone badly, then you become what? You become a dejected dog. That's what. Yeah, like those sad puppy faces, All some animal breeds are like that. Some dog breeds, they permanently look sad. Yeah, sad puppy eyes they make. You can't resist them, because you feel you like rescuing them. And why? Because if they are riddled with guilt. Guilt ridden because it has not gone well. And hunger for approval if it does go well. So both ways they are shortchanged because of tvam kartrutvam. Yeah, because of this. And Adi Shankara outlines this very nicely, very succinctly, very beautifully done here. And then he says, this is what we see. And then, furthermore, what else happens? Tatra evam sati dharma adharma upachayat ishta anishta janma sukha dukkha samprapti lakshanah samsarah anuparato bhavati. Yeah, let us just take that much. Tatra means, tatra evam sati means, this being the case, this being the state of affairs, what happens? This samsara, what is samsara? The cycle of endless births and endless deaths, mitigated by a little bit of heavenly concert or drink here and there. The rest of the time, one is just, what is that? One like a bullock that is connected to an oil press with a big yoke around its neck. In the olden days, they used to make it just go round. Very horrible to see. And then it would have a stone that would make it just go like this, all the time. And then attached on the other side was another rod, churning rod, with a little depression there, another stone. It used to grind the oil seeds. And it can only go backwards or forwards. It couldn't go any other way. So it was forced to go in a circle. And that circle is like the cycle of birth and death, where you are tied to your doings, which is your undoing. And so this samsara, which is this never-ending cycle that takes place, which is through what? Which is through various births and deaths. And we'll come to that. The never-ending cycle, which is because of self-ignorance, characterized by do-worship, characterized by this constant status of being the doer. And this samsara has lakshana. Lakshana means characteristics. So what are the characteristics of the samsara? And ishta janma, desirable birth, and then what? Undesirable birth. And then sukha dukkha samprapti lakshana means, sometimes you encounter happiness, at other times what? Unhappiness, sorrow, mostly sorrow. Yeah, that's why it's called samsaro. That's the definition of samsara. So mostly sorrow, idhar udhar, kabhi kabhi, here and there, little bit of happiness when the sorrow, subsides a little bit. And then what? Dharma upachaya. Upachaya means the collection. Collection of what? Dharma and adharma. Here papa and punya. So, and then why is there a new birth? Because you have collected a lot of karma that cannot be exhausted in this birth. And what the karmas are divided into two. Collected karma means the results of action in the here or before. Two kinds of actions. Actions in keeping with what is correct, what is, in the cosmic flow, what is right, and then actions that go against this cosmic matrix of norms called dharma. So, papa, difficult consequences caused by wrong actions, difficult situations, uncomfortable situations in the here or hereafter caused by wrong actions, as a consequence of wrong actions committed here or hereafter. And then punya, which means comfortable outcomes that one is experiencing in the here or the hereafter, characterized by, as a result of good actions. So this is the gamut of samsara.
Sukha Dukkha Samprapti Lakshana. Janma, and by Janma you have to say Marana, Janma, Marana, Sukha, Dukkha, alternating states of mind, alternative states of thing caused by Papa, Punya, depending upon one's Papa and Punya. So this kind of samsara lakshana, bhavati, iti ataha, therefore, what happens, therefore, ataha, shoka, samsara bija bhutau, shoka mohau. So therefore what? Sorrow and delusion are the sources of this samsara. They are the samsara bija bhuta. The seed of samsara is nothing but sorrow and delusion. The sorrow is the, what is that? The delusion is the fertile ground. The sorrow is the tearful, watering can, watering pot. Yeah. So, watering pot of tears on the fertile ground of delusion, sprouts forth into this endless transmigration of experience, first doer, and then you do in order to experience, then the experiences make you into a further doer, bhokta, bhokta, karta, bhokta, karta, bhokta, karta, bhokta, experiencer, doer, experiencer, experience, doer, experiencer, doer, experiencer, etc. All permutations and combinations. This is a very, very sad thing, he concludes. Tayoscha, and then what is the solution? Tayohocha, and means for this, for this, tayoho means what? For these two. Which two? Shoka moha, for ending, shoka and moha. What to do? Nivrittihi, tayocha nivrittihi, katham. How to get free of this sorrow and delusion? He says there is only one way. Sarva sannyasa karma purvakat. It is purvakat atmajnanat. So, atmajnanam, self-knowledge, which is what is happening right now. And so atmajnanam, just to make sure that we know what is going on. So, atmajnanam is self-knowledge, the knowledge of I as neither the doer nor the receiver of the doings, nor the experiencer. I am neither tied to the doing nor tied to the results of the action. There is nothing that is mine. There is nothing that is not mine, really. Everything is me alone. This knowledge, because I am that truth of the universe, I am that truth of the Jagat, the cause of the Jagat, I am that Ishvara, that which is the overlord of everything, is myself alone. There is no God other than I. This understanding is called Atmajnanam. Atmajnanat, tasmat, from that, as a result of that, and that Atmajnanam, this knowledge needs something as a preparation. You need to put something, you need to have a little preparation. And what is the preparation for this? I mean, everything, like even if you go to kindergarten, in India, to get admission in kindergarten, oh my God, it's like going to medical school. Yeah, you have to start when the mother-to-be is yet to, she's 5 months pregnant, and they start interviews. They start going to the schools. So, when is your due date? Okay, 5 years from now. Okay, all right. So, now let us test your IQ. They test the parents' IQ. Yes. They press that. They press the parents. They don't make the parents chant nursery rhymes and all these things. They may as well. But the parents are put through the test, and you should see these parents to be. They're not yet parents. And they're so nervous. Oh, we are going to kindergarten test. And then when the child is finally born, and maybe 2 or 3 years old, then they ask to bring the child. Then they put it on the waiting list. And then they ask to bring the child. And the child has to, what? The child has to do 6 times table. What is 6 times? What is 5 times? Then the parents, of course, are, worried how the child will do. The child doesn't care, and in fact all children are like that. When I go home to people's houses, they'll say, oh, chant Guru Brahma. It won't. As soon as I leave, it will chant. Because, nobody likes to be put on the spot. Chant this, chant that. It's not a performer, it's a baby. So this baby is made to chant Jack and Jill went up the hill and all these things, and then they will decide whether to take it or not. So kindergarten, even kindergarten needs preparation. And everything needs a uniform. In India, schools have uniforms, you have to have all these things. So Atma Jnanam, the most sacred of our knowledge, also needs a preparation. It's no different. Like if you're going to put so much effort for kindergarten, this is also a kindergarten for the inner child. Yes, this is the inner child kindergarten or daycare where you are taught how to parent. Yeah, this is parenting classes for the inner child. This is really what it amounts to ultimately. I'm going to take, since we started at 4 or 5, we'll take 5 minutes more. So then, here, this is very interesting because in every other knowledge, like physics, you can't just become an Einstein. You can't go from 4th grade to say, I'm going to do PhD. You have to finish high school, you have to do a BA in physics, you have to do an MA, and then perhaps they will let you to do a PhD. Perhaps. If you survive all this. And similarly in math, you cannot say, I'm going to study trigonometry and calculus. If you don't know how, if you're still doubtful about what is 2 plus 3, you're still wondering, what is that really? So if you cannot go there. You have to first, some prep and background is needed. So for Atma Jnanasya evacha, background asti. Background is there for Atma Jnanam. For self-knowledge also there has to be a background. And what is he saying? Sarva karma sannyasa purvakam. That is that. So what is the uniform for coming to class? According to Adi Shankara, orange. Yes. Not orange. What orange signifies? Yeah. Orange signifies what? Renunciation. Orange signifies renunciation. So renunciation of what? Dropping of this. See, if you look at the pin that holds this cycle of samsara that was afore described together, what is the pin? The pin is you and your orientation as a doer. That is the pin. Because nobody wants to be the doer for the doer's sake. Why do you do? So that I can enjoy. All right, sit and enjoy. No, that was just not enough. So I want to do again. Okay, do. No, I want to enjoy. And everybody wants to retire. Baby in the pram, if you meet and say hi, it says, what do you want to do in life? I want to retire. How can you? Yeah. What will you do? I'll just have lollipops from morning to night. This is the baby's retirement dream. Everyone wants to retire. But then, when you retire, are you just keeping quiet? No, you're still a doer. You keep doing, addicted to this doing. And this doing is what bringing in is your undoing. It is bringing in all kinds of things. You forget how to be. And you forget how to be in this whole rigmarole of doing. And as a result of the doing, you become a karma phala hog, karma phala kankshi, to put it in Sanskrit. And then what? Then you anticipate karma phala. Do you get what you want? No, of course you don't get what you want. You get what you don't want? Always I get what I don't want. The neighbor gets what I want. I get what I don't want, and what the neighbor also doesn't want comes to me. This is what my life is. So therefore what? Do you keep quiet and say, okay, let me cut the losses. Grapes are sour, let me go away. The fox is craftier. Here I don't even have the craftiness of the fox to walk away from the grapes. I am worse off than the fox because I keep jumping, life after life after life. And so what is the linchpin? That pin that holds the whole of samsara together. What is that master pin? It is your doing and your doership. So here, the preparation for Atma Jnanam is letting go of all the finite priorities that can be gained from the doing, which is really your undoing, seeing that is the viveka, and then letting go of the things that do not serve you and do not take you to where you really want to be, which is abiding in the truth of yourself. That is called sarva karma, all karmas, sannyasa purvakam. Purvakam means what? That is put in the front. Yes. So you put sannyasa in front and you sit in the back and listen to the class. You put the non-doer in front. You let go of the doership and then you come to the class. Then only the classes will bless you. Otherwise, sitting here, you will be thinking of 100 things to do, and that's where the orientation is. If you want this knowledge to bless you, come prepared in this way. This is the only way. Atma Jnana Purvakat, Nivrittihi. Nivrittihi means freedom from sannyasa, freedom from shoka and moha. So tayoho cha, that is the dual. You have to go back to what is tayoho? Shoka moha. Yeah. So then anyataha na. Yeah, anyataha na means not otherwise in 1,000 years. Yes. Because you have to understand the connection between jnana and moksha. Moksha, freedom. What is freedom? Freedom from a notion of bondage. Since the bondage is notional, the bondage is not a notion, it's a notion. Correct? So you don't have to get a big cup and bail out, the water of the ocean so that you can be on dry land. You just have to let go of the notion that I am a sad sack. That's the notion that you have to let go of. How are you going to let go of? Because you are already free. You are not bound. And what is the distance between you and the freedom? It's less than the distance between my hand and space. There is no distance in terms of time or space. So the distance is only in the form of ignorance. So that ignorance is bridged by the cognitive shift I have to undergo through knowledge. For the sake of the knowledge, I may drop certain things I am doing. I may do other things more intensely, but it's always for the doership is harnessed to the horses of knowledge. The doership and the doing, my actions subserve the knowledge. I do whatever it takes to be in a place of preparation, to be in a place of receptivity, to be in a place of knowing, in the place of attention, so that I can, it's not that I stop doing, but I hitch the doership and the actions to help me to gain this knowledge, to gain the inner maturity. So that's why this is what is called, sannyasa purvakat nivrittihi. So by listening and by committing to self-knowledge, I gain freedom, na anyatha, not in any other way, he says. Na anyatha nivrittihi. This is only through this alone, Otherwise, samsara is anuparoto bhavati. Anuparoto bhavati means it keeps going and going and going. It doesn't stop. Tad upadidikshuhu. Didikshu means desirous of teaching this. Yeah. To desirous of teaching this. Who was desirous of teaching this? Quick. Who?
Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna. Answer to this is not Brahman. That was for the morning class. Yeah. Krishna, Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is upadidikshuhu. Why? Because he has upadidiksha. What is upadidiksha? Upadeshtum ichha. The desire to teach. Out of the desire to teach, this very thing, that one is the whole, tad upadidikshuhu, and for who did he desire to teach? Don't say Arjuna, because that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is sarvaloka anugrahartham. For the whole universe, to benefit the entire universe of the desirers of freedom everywhere, in every land, in every place, to benefit all of them for their hitam, for their comfort, for, out of compassion to liberate all the people who were interested in this knowledge, who were suffering as a result of their being tagged on to their doership. For them, Arjunam nimitti kritya, making Arjuna an excuse. This nimitti karanam means making him an excuse. And using Arjuna as an excuse, Arjunam nimitti kritya aha Bhagavan Vasudevaha. So this Bhagavan, this Krishna, who is presented as Bhagavan walking the earth, Vasudeva, says Ashocyan Ityadi. He says all these things that we are about to see on Tuesday. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.